What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the WrestleGasm YouTube channel, where today we are here with episode number 6 of my 0000 challenge on TEW9 Fusion Pro Wrestling. And we are just coming off of the back end of the first anniversary show, which is our biggest show yet, with a very, very anticlimactic ending to that show. But we're going to try and build up some momentum heading out of it and heading into the second year of FPW. There's nothing big to go over before we get into the next show, so we're just going to jump straight into it. We are here for FPW Live number 14 in front of 113 people. We start things off with a segment. Vinny Massaro opens the show on behalf of the FPW board and thanks the audience for supporting us through an incredible first year. As we head into year 2, it is time to find out who will be the next challenger for Sonico's FPW World Championship. Next month at FPW Live 15, we will host Fusion Pro Wrestling's first ever Battle Royal. 10 participants will enter the match and the last person standing will earn a shot against Sonico. For those competing on tonight's card, take this opportunity to impress the board. This is your last opportunity to earn a spot in that Battle Royal. So, first and foremost, it says Sonico's in the segment. He is appearing off screen. He's not actually on tonight's show. Going to give him a little bit of a break, even though, you know, he maybe doesn't deserve it after the anniversary show, but he's taking a break nonetheless, because I want tonight's show to be about people who can be in the Battle Royal, because I want to see what kind of performances everyone puts on, and see who should really be in that Battle Royal contenders match next month. On the topic of a Battle Royal, I know obviously that's going to be a bit of an expensive match for us to book, because it's going to be 10 people in the match, but I'm going to try and, you know, counter it a little bit. It's only going to be a 3-match card, so we're going back to like original FPW days. It's going to be 3 matches. It's going to be like 2 singles bouts and then the Battle Royal. But I think because it's a Battle Royal, it should be okay. But I really wanted to spice it up. I want to do something unique instead of kind of same old, you know? But yeah, that's where we're heading over the next couple of shows. Other than this segment, the rest of this show is just going to be straight up matches, no storylines being told other than this one. I know we're probably going to get a complaint about no like hot storylines being told, but that's fine. I just want this show to be about performances and getting people in some matches. Speaking of which, our first match of the night. In a bout that had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd, Ruben Steele defeated Ace Perry in 12:02 by submission. A 34 segment rating. Would have hoped for a little bit better than that, but not too bad there. Ruben Steele needed a bit of momentum. Ace Perry had some to lose. Then in a decent match, TNT defeated Dolce Tormenta and Radar in 11:55 when Terrell Hughes pinned Radar with a Dudley Death Drop. 28, really not that great, unfortunately. Radar was rusty. We did just sign Radar, so he's our newest signing, by the way. I got a comment. Someone in a previous episode said I should sign Radar because he's in a tag team with Sonico, I believe. I couldn't actually find any record of them being a tag team. I'm sure they are, I just couldn't find anything about it. But I decided to sign him anyways because he's nice and cheap, he's relatively local, so there's no traveling costs. So he's on the roster now. So thank you to whoever left that comment. But we're going to have to give him a couple matches so that he can get rid of that ring rust. But that's the case for several people in our roster, unfortunately. But yeah, I thought we're going to slap 2 luchadors together for this, because I want to start experimenting with tag teams as well, because we've only got 3 official tag teams on the roster. But yeah, 28, not ideal, but for this particular spot on the card, I'm not upset by it at all. But yeah. Also, Dolce Tormenta, we had her signed in the last episode, but this is her debut match for FPW. So yeah, moving on. In a bout that had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd, Rachel Rose defeated Promise Braxton in 10:03 by submission. Promise Braxton also making her debut. 35, again, not really going to complain about that. I think I'm maybe having too high of expectations for these matches. I think that's on me, really. But yeah, Rachel Rose picks up the win. She needed a bit of momentum. Then we head into the next match. In a bout that had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd, Trey Lamar defeated Johnny Robbie in 11:19 by submission with a lion tamer. This is one that I was hoping for a bit better for. I actually was kind of looking forward to this match, but 28, bit of a letdown here. Poor psychology, inconsistency. For the length given, limited psychology involved. Okay, so it is both too short and too long of a match. That makes sense. But anyways, moving on to the main event. In About the had superb wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Stephen Wolf defeated Lowrider in 15:43 by pinfall with a treaty breaker. Okay, a 37. I don't know what's going on, because it's not that we're just booking people who aren't our consistent highest performing roster members, because Stephen Wolf and Lowrider are both in like the top 5 highest performers on the roster, and yet they're still pulling out a 37. We're getting bat drive in the middle. Admittedly, this was a bit of a longer match, and the match was too short, so we can't win either way with the length. And I'm not putting on any added things of like slow build or anything like that, especially after the anniversary show. But I don't know, this show just doesn't seem like we can really win. Yeah, like I said, this show, APW Live 14, is just a straight up matches, get people performing, see who should go into the Battle Royal. So if we look at their individual performance ratings from that show, there are definitely some that I'm like, yeah, you have to be in the Battle Royal. But the actual segment ratings, I'm kind of disappointed by this show. But we'll finish. I think... Oh, do I want to praise anyone from that show? I think... you know who I'm gonna praise, because I got nothing said against them. Justin Borden, our referee. Gonna praise him, and then I don't even know what I would do for the second one. You know what? Vinny Massaro, right? Why not? Seem pleased. Got to give it to our staff. I could have given it to Todd Kennelly as well. Speaking of which, I forgot to mention, Todd Kennelly is now on the booking team as well. I think he had a 25, maybe, booking skill. But that's around the same as Vinny Massaro. So the booking team is now me, Vinny Massaro, Todd Kennelly, but my character has 0 booking skill, because that was essentially the 5th 0 in the 4-0 challenge. So I just wanted to mention that as well. Financial report, we lost 405. We're doing pretty damn well in the finances at the moment. Pop, we're up to 11. All right, we're heading back to the main screen. As per usual, if there's something that I need to show you guys on the main screen, I will do that. If not, I will see you guys for the next show, which is FPW Live number 15. Okay, so it is time for FPW Live 15. This is going to be a very straightforward show. There's only 3 matches, because one of them's a Battle Royal, so I think that makes up for it. It's going to be very just straight to the point. Before we get into the matches, I will say, between recording the FPW Live 14 and 15 parts, I received a couple more comments on the last episode, and I just want to take a second to really thank you guys for all the comments, whether it's just you guys showing support, or if it's you guys giving me tips and advice for how to play. And I kind of came to a realization. I have played TEW games for, it'd have to be over a decade now, or around a decade, something like that. But based on this series, you might think I'm just a complete rookie, because there's so many things that are just going over my head. And I think I came to the realization of, like, I have always played TEW with such a specific style that I just kind of go on autopilot. And now that I'm doing another series and putting it out on YouTube, and there's so many of you guys checking out the content, which thank you so much for that, people are kind of noticing things I'm doing and be like, okay, well, you can do this instead. So yeah, I think I just kind of play this game in autopilot a lot, which makes me look like I'm a complete noob at this game, but I promise I'm not, I swear. Anyways, that was a complete tangent. It's time to get into this. This is FPW Live 15. Like I said, very short show, but there is a Battle Royal that makes up for it. There's no angles either. Alright, in About the had superb wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Sonico defeated Caljack in 12:15 by pinfall with an EMF, a 48 rated match to open the show. Sonico was like, you know what, my last match, my title defense against Zeta Zang was such a flop, I'm going to make up for it. I'm going to put on a banger with the guy that just can't pull out a good performance. Which, for context, You guys may remember from a couple episodes ago, we had a comment from someone saying I should take someone with 70 plus star quality and try and build them up to be a star for the company, like a future star. And I went with Cal Jack because he was very affordable, he was available, but he had ring rust, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna have him like squash some people for several shows and try and build him up that way and get his performance ratings up. But every match we had with him, he just kind of wasn't doing that great. And so I was kind of losing confidence in him. And then I realized today, like in this recording, I realized Zeta Zhang also has 70 plus star quality. Zeta Zhang is already one of our main stars. In fact, if we go to the creative on the main screen and we look at the franchise players, she's number one. She's technically our top star. So I'm just gonna do it that way. So yeah, Cal Jack, I'm still going to keep Cal Jack around because he has decent performance ratings, just not what we wanted for the goal we had for him. So he's still going to stick around, he's still going to be a roster member. Pulling out a 40 here, I think that's because Sonico carried him to have a good match. But yeah, so our kind of game plan for Cal Jack is now out the window because Zeta Zhang is already a star for us. Speaking of Zeta Zhang, the second match, in a decent match, Zeta Zhang defeated Izzy Marino in 10:05 by submission with a sleeper hold. Izzy Marino, we already knew wasn't going to perform great because she's had one match for us already and it just wasn't that good. Zeta couldn't carry this one like Sonico just did, but it's because they don't click, which is fair enough. Someone did also comment that I should put Izzy Marino in a tag team with someone who can carry her so that she can kind of improve in her performances over time as part of a tag team. That's something I probably will do. I wasn't really in a spot to put a tag team match on this card along with the Battle Royal because we're already using so many workers and spending so much money on it. But with that being said, it is time for the main event. It is time for the 10-person Battle Royal to determine the number one contender for Sonico's FPW World Championship. In a bout that had superb wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd, Lowrider won a Battle Royal in 2026. The order of elimination was Shazza McKenzie first, then Zane Dawson, Johnny Robbie, Ace Perry, Stephen Wolf, Alpha Zo, Ryan Davidson, Dave Dawson, and finally Rachel Rose. Now, I will say, I picked the winner. I picked Lowrider to be the winner, but everything else was not chosen by me. I did not choose the order of eliminations whatsoever. I just wanted Lowrider to win. Now, I was looking at who would be the best option based on kind of average performance ratings, and it was going to be Stephen Wolf. Stephen Wolf is the best candidate, but he has been, whilst he hasn't challenged for the title, which he will at some point, don't get me wrong, he definitely will, he's always been up in that kind of upper echelon of FPW roster members because of the pillar system. Him, Sonico, Zeta Zhang are our pillars, and admittedly the pillars are kind of fading because we don't really need that anymore because it's not just 3 people carrying the show, but he's always in that conversation, so I thought he would be the obvious pick. Lowrider is someone who consistently pulls out great performances and we know can put on a great match with Sonico. So, we're going to go pre-book match. It's going to be Sonico, it's going to be Lowrider, and then if we go match history, yeah, their last match was a 46, so absolutely. Actually, when was their last match? In May of 2026, on my birthday. Okay, cool. So it's been some time since they've fought, so I expect their next match to be significantly better. Put the world title on the line. And I'm not going to change the match length or the road agent notes until I'm actually booking the show. So we're going to put that there. And then we're going to finish the show. The fans were disappointed that of the storylines further during the show, none really had any dramatic stakes. I kind of expected that. The Battle Royal was part of the storyline, but I'm not too bothered. We did what we wanted to do with this show. I mean, admittedly, look, okay, if we had more to the storyline and we didn't have Izzy Marino on the card, this would have been a banger show. Like 46 and 48, if we just took out those 2 factors, we would be chilling. But I'm not upset. We did what we wanted to do. address the locker room, there's two people I want to praise, and that's the champion and the challenger. Sonico put on an incredible performance. He carried that match to be what might be our highest rated match, I'm not sure. And Lowrider, we didn't see the specific performances of the Battle Royal because it didn't show us, but it was an incredible match. It was a 46 rated match, and I'm going to assume that was largely in part because of Lowrider. Financial report, we actually lost less money than usual. Interesting. Okay, I'll have to do a bit of a deep dive into that, but that's really cool. I mean, it's probably just the profits going up. Look, we made 600 in ticket sales. That is awesome. Pop recap, we're now up to 12 pop in the Mid-South. All right, there we go. As per usual, I will take it back to the main screen if there is something to show there. If there is not, then I will see you guys at the final show of this episode, which will be FPW Live 16. Alright, it is time for the final show of the episode. It is FPW Live number 16. We have 139 people. That's a bit of a jump there, so I am definitely not complaining about that. Before we get into the matches, a couple things I want to mention. Firstly, there's no angles on this show. It's just pure matches again, but that's okay because we don't need a storyline to progress other than the championship match, which is going to be Sonico and Lowrider. So that's going to be the main event of this 5-match card. Something I want to mention real quick, we are going into this show with $7,000, which is obviously the highest our budget has been yet. So I've made the decision to bump up just one of our production stats for this episode. So I bumped up the broadcast quality because that was the cheapest one except for music, and I feel like music just isn't significant enough of a thing for us to upgrade at the moment. So our broadcast quality has gone up one, and it is going to cost us $500 per show. Now I know that's quite a lot in our current state, but I am willing to take a risk. I'm willing to gamble on it because the upgrade itself is free. It's just that it costs $500 per show. So hopefully it works out, because production levels is something I want to upgrade as soon as I possibly can. But yeah, so those are the notes heading into this show, so let's go ahead and jump into it. Like I said, 139 people. Here we go. And about had great wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Promise Braxton defeated Ace Perry in 11:06 by pinfall. This match was very much just Promise Braxton needed a bit of momentum. Ace Perry had some to lose. 37, pretty happy with that. Could have been a bit better, but I'm not going to complain. That's pretty solid. Now we have 2 tag team matches on tonight's show, which I know does cost us a little bit more money, but there are a couple things I wanted to do. This tag team match, in a decent match, Zeta Zhang and Izzy Marino defeated TNT in 10 minutes 12 seconds when Zeta Zhang submitted Terrell Hughes with a sleeper hold. In terms of in-ring work, Zeta Zhang was head and shoulders above everyone else. Izzy Marino was the weak link. So here's my logic. So obviously Zeta Zhang and Izzy Marino fought in last month's show. The idea behind this, I said during FPW Live 15, someone commented that we should put Izzy Marino in a tag team with someone who can carry her until she can start getting better performance ratings. And it kind of clicked with me between these two shows. Zeta's the perfect candidate because she's the best women's wrestler on the roster. I was going to say the best wrestler full stop on the roster, excluding like Sonico. But after her title match and her match against Izzy, her kind of performance has dropped a bit. So we needed her to get back up to her consistent performances. So the idea I'm running with is after their match, Zeta would have been like, listen, I want to kind of take you under my wing. Even if you don't become like a full-on protege or anything, I still want to just be able to teach you some things because you've got some spark. You could be a future star, and I may not be the best teacher, but I want to at least, share with you what I know and try and help you the best I can, right? Because keep in mind, whilst Zeta Zhang's picture is quite a fierce one, we're not huge on characters in FPW, at least at our current level. Once we start getting a TV show where we can start booking the shows with more like more structure to them, more identity to them, then maybe we'll dive into character work. But that's not necessarily the case here. So Zeta is more of just an athlete who's coming in to perform and kick people's ass, basically. So she's open to the idea of mentoring Izzy in that capacity. So that's kind of the idea here. I was gonna do it as an angle where Zeta would go up to Izzy and be like, hey, do you want to do this? And it was gonna be like a backstage angle. But the reason I decided against it is because we haven't done any backstage angles in the entire series so far. Any angles we've done have been in ring. And the reason for that is because we're not broadcasting the show. We're not like, it's still a very small show being done in front of a live audience. So, like, sure, we could say that if we release it on DVD later on or something like that, or post it on YouTube later on, in the kind of hypothetical sense, obviously we need to get a broadcast deal with YouTube, then sure, we could have done a backstage segment. But I think I prefer doing it this way because we can just have the commentators be like, or specifically Todd Kennelly be like, here's what's happened. Zeta has gone to Izzy and said, do you want to come under my wing for a while? So Todd Kennelly can convey all that. We don't need a segment for that, basically. I feel like I waffled on way too long to explain that, but you guys get the general idea, hopefully. In about that had good wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Dolce Tormenta defeated Johnny Robbie in 9:52 by submission. I didn't really want to have Johnny Robbie lose because I was really happy with Johnny Robbie's performances and would really like to use her in a larger capacity. But Tormenta needed some momentum. Robbie had some to lose. And Tormenta actually kind of stepped up her game a bit. Robbie did step down a little bit, but I'm not going to complain about that. In about that had superb wrestling and a decent reaction from the crowd. Alpha Zoe and Trey Lamar defeated Superiority Complex in 12:02 when Trey Lamar submitted Stephen Wolf with a Lion Tamer. 43 rated match. That is awesome. You love to see it. This was really just Trey needed some momentum, so he picked up the win. And Exodus Prime hadn't appeared in a couple shows, so I wanted to put him on the card, and yeah, that's really all there was to this match. 43, very, very happy with that. Now it's time for us to jump into the main event. It is the FPW World Championship. Sonico defends to Lowrider. I'm going to just kind of try and prepare myself because Sonico has had two title defenses. The first was against Alpha Zoe, which was a bit subpar. It wasn't quite to our expectations. And then he defended it to Zeta Zang at the anniversary show, which was a flop. It went horribly. So if this match goes bad, I'm convinced the FPW World Championship is just cursed. Absolutely cursed. Now, the last time Sonico and Lowrider fought, which it has been almost a year at this point, they got a 46. Our best match in FPW history is 48, which is the match Sonico had at the previous show against Caljack. So I have confidence that this will be the best match in FPW history. It doesn't have to be the best match. If it comes close, I'm still happy, as long as it doesn't suck. So, here we go. Holy shit, we got a 52. That is the best FPW match by 4 points. In about had superb wrestling and good heat, Sonico defeated Lowrider in 15:06 by pinfall with an EMF. Sonico makes defense number 3 of the FPW World title. This should have been the anniversary show. Like, point blank, this should have been the anniversary show. Great chemistry, both performances in the 50s, they had the next contender storyline. And do you know what's crazy? I didn't have a creative finish on this. That's largely because I keep getting creative finishes, but I keep forgetting to use them. So if they had a creative finish and it worked, it might have been a bit higher. But 52, best match, finish the show, finish again, address the locker room. Sonico and Lowrider praised easy. Now, one thing I forgot to mention real quick. Zeta Zang, she still has negative morale from being injured. That has affected the shows a bit, and I completely forgot to mention it. I before the show, the speech that I like to give the roster is the team bonding one, so it like strengthens any relationships. At the last show, FPW Live 15, it said Zeta's relationship worsened with, I think, Sonico, Stephen Wolf, Vinny Massaro, and Alpha Zo. I think that's who it was. And then on this show, it happened again with just the Pillars, Sonico and Stephen Wolf. So her relationship is getting worse with some of the roster, and it's because she has negative morale. So that's something I'm going to have to try and combat. I'm going to have to try and improve her morale as best I can. If I have to give her a bit of money to do that, I will. Not a lot, obviously, because we don't have a lot. But she is a very valuable asset to the company, so I want to keep her on board. And if she keeps worsening her relationships with the roster members, then it's just going to create a toxic backstage environment, and we're not going to be able to use her on the show. I'm going to have to release her. So I'm going to fight to fix her morale. Anyways, financial report. I'm nervous to see this because of the $500 production fee. Lost 175. Okay, so this, I don't think this takes into account the production costs. Because show costs, I swear it was 500 per show. So overall, yeah, okay. So that doesn't take into account the production. So we're gonna head back to the main screen. Oh, popularity recap. Didn't get any points there, but that's fine. That's gonna happen every so often. Gonna head back to the main screen. Gonna simulate until the end of April, the start of May, because I like to get to the end of the month to see the recap of our finances. So I will see you guys there. Okay, so it is now the 1st of May 2027, and as you can see, we are sitting pretty at $6,900, which means we had a profit of 1.3k. Admittedly, yeah, it's a bit of a decrease from last month's income, but considering we're still making 1.3k, which is just $100 less than our last profit, whilst factoring in the $500 production fee, that's kind of perfect. Like that, I don't know. I couldn't have asked for a better outcome than that. Well, I mean, I could have. Would have been to still make more profit than last month, but that would be an insane ask. That's not going to happen. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of point that out because things are looking really smooth right now. This was kind of the success that I wanted to have after the last episode with the anniversary show. So we're getting an episode later, but it's still a success nonetheless. I really cannot complain. Yeah, Zeta Zhang still has morale issues. What I've done is I gave her a month off because, and I know I talk all the time about not wanting to do kind of game exploity things. This kind of is a game exploit thing, but I gave her a month off because her absence ends on the 25th of May. Our next show is the 29th of May. So even though she gets a month off, she doesn't miss anything. That is kind of exploity of me. I will fully own that, but it's just the way it is. I also want to try and book her prominently on the cards moving forward. Not to give her another title shot because she's already had one, but I want to feature her prominently on the cards so that if she puts on a good performance, which I hope she will, I can praise her for it, and that will help with the morale as well. So that's going to be a big kind of point moving forward. But with that being said, I would just want to quickly have a look at... Okay, no, so what I kind of want to do, and I don't know if I'm going to do it in the next episode, but I want to just put it out there to you guys regardless. I think we're at a stage now where we can start doing some fun stuff where it's not just straight up shows. So we can change the structure of it a bit. And we did that in this episode with the Battle Royal, but I want to do a tournament. And I want to introduce some sort of annual tournament to FPW. And I have some ideas what I want that to be. But the reason I was looking at the kind of calendar is because it would be cool if we could do it as a 2-night thing. But I was thinking if there's a month where Saturday is the last day and then Sunday is the first day of the next month, that would be ideal because that means we're putting on shows for both months and I don't have to run 2 shows in a month, meaning I chew up more money. But that being said, I don't have to do a 2-night show anyways. It could just be whenever. Oh, we could do July into June, or August, but I don't know if I want to wait that long. Maybe we will. Who knows? But yeah, that's kind of what I want to do. But yeah, that about does it for this episode. Just to show off that incredible match. We got our top 2 matches in our PW history. Both Sonico matches were from this episode, so that's really, really cool. Very happy about that. Did that actually boost up? Okay, cool. We got back the prestige point that we lost from the anniversary show, so that's awesome. Anyways, that does it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Really, really happy with the progress we made in this one. Things are looking really good right now. Our next major goal, generally speaking, is just to hit tiny size, and then I think if we want to get a broadcast deal, our best bet is to go like YouTube, but we need to get to 20 pop. That being said, I haven't looked through every single broadcaster to see, like, maybe there's a tiny one just in the Mid-South or something. I don't know, but that's kind of our goal. That's what we want. We want to get some sort of broadcasting deal so that we can gain that pop a hell of a lot faster. But thank you guys so much for joining me today. I really do appreciate it, and I will see you guys next time.